Hello everybody, it's me, Code Trucker Looter, signing in for another episode of the Crash Course C# content. The content that the tutorial that I'm showing you how to actually do properly C# in order to focus more into game development. So, without further ado, let's get into the next chapter, or the next part of this chapter 2, which is variables. And before coming into the content that I said that I was going to explain last week into this episode, which were floating point variables, meaning float variables, and double point variables, I want to dive into first the user input, because it's very, very important that you grasp this concept already, rather than in a rather than in a forward exercise or section. So it's better to grasp the concept right now. So without further ado, let's get into user inputs. Okay. So what is user input? User input is basically what you allowed the user of the program that you created to type information into the program. For example, a user input could be inputting a username for a login account, or inputting a number for another for another information of the account, or also a mouse click that gets a reaction. For example, hacking slash game. A mouse click is a user input in order to give the order to the character to attack. So user input is actually basically the most fundamental action that we can give to our client, to our user that it's using our program. So without further ado, guys, let's see how user input is created inside a C# console program. Okay, so we go here and create our program name. It's going to be user input. User input. There you go. That's better. User input, just like so. .NET, yeah, sure, whatever. Create. Okie dokie. So here, I'm gonna create a very minimalistic program. So, sorry about that. User and using is very similar, right? Using system, of course. Now here, the namespace, which of course is very optional. If you want to create a namespace, you can use it. You can use user input, okay. And then we create the class called project. Very minimalistic design, of course. Static void main. All right. If you want to put the string args inside the scopes of the main, you are free to do it. I don't do it because I'm lazy. Okay. So here, create a program that lets the user input a name. So go here, console.writeLine, enter your name, okay, and then what we do here. So the main thing that we should do here is create a string. In this case, it's a string because we're creating a text string name. Okay, then we assign it to the console.readLine command here. This will prompt a warning. It's not very, how you say it, good to do it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Now we do here, I don't know, create a greet to the user if you like it. So console.writeLine here, say hello, and then we concatenate the name here, and basically that's how it is. So Control Shift B to build the project, build started and build succeeded. Now we create the user input. Fair warning, this will create a little warning. Warning is not that serious of a problem. If you have say a bug or an error, then of course your program wouldn't compile. So enter your name. So let's put a name, how about Jack? Hello Jack. See, I input the name Jack and the program greet me because I programmed it so. But let's break it down. So console write line, enter your name, so string name, console read line, right? Then console write line hello. So what does this mean? So of course line 11, it creates basically the command, right? You are telling the user to enter its name. Here is where the magic happens. String name. So basically, why is this? Why do you have to do this? Do it like that? You need to create a string in order to assign the command console.readline in order for the user to input the information. That's how C# works. Of course, this is if you do like a graphical user interface, you're not gonna let the user to put all these all together, right? You are gonna make it easy and easy enough for the user in order to just put its name. And then console write line, basically you're concatenating another piece of text, meaning hello. You're greeting the user by doing this variable, right? The variable name, because you already assigned the variable name, you can actually use the variable in order to input the actual name of the user. So we can do again. We can do it again. Say Gerardo, right? Hello, Gerardo. So it's very, how you say it, minimalistic. Yeah, so it's a very minimalistic example of how to input a name. So are we ready for the next project? I think we are. Let's get going. So we go again. We go for user input 2. Very understandable, right? User input 2, and then go next. Click next. System. And I'm using system that collections that generic. I'm just giving you more libraries that you can use later. But I don't think it's gonna, be of much importance. So namespace again, namespace user input 2, class project, and static void main. So in this user input example, what we're gonna do here is create a program where the user can input its name to the console. Okay, very easy, right? So the thing that we have to do first here is creating an integer called h. Okay, this integer basically is gonna give us the path to create another integer that we assign the command of the read line, and then we assign this in a variable to the read line variable. So bear with me. Create the console write line. What is your name? Sorry. How old are you? Okay. Sorry. how old are you? And there's nothing to do here, therefore we create a dot, and then here we create, actually, yeah, that's better. We don't need to do what I said. So basically h, it's the h that we have here, equals convert to integer. Okay, IntelliSense already gave me the entirety of my assignment here. So convert to integer 32 console read line. So what it did here is basically, what it did here is typecasting. Basically what it did is creating a cast. I cast another type of variable to my assigned variable. So what it did here basically, you'll see console write line, console, I always do that, console write line, you are h years old. So what it did is convert my type integer to an integer 32 console read line. So basically I convert the variable. So the convert to, it's a very useful way to cast different variables into a more precise type variable that you would like to use for your projects. And you can convert anything, but, well, there are some exceptions, of course. So to, for example, convert to, so we have integer, right? Convert to integer, 16, 32, 64. What else? Convert to double, convert to decimal, date time, convert to, I don't know. Well, there's so many here. Today, chart. You can. The sky is the limit in this scenario. Well, there's a limit a bit, but if you, I'm pretty sure if you put more libraries, you can get more cast options. But basically, that's how it is. So let's go back to integer. We save, we build, and we run. So let's say, for example, we are 17 years old, okay? You are 17 years old. See, I just inputted as a user my age, which is not my real age, by the way. So yeah, now you know how to input text. Now you know how to input numbers. So what else we could input? What else we could do? So in order for that, let's go for a more in-depth thing to do, okay? So let's go to new project, console C#, create a user input 3, and let's go. How about if we do some mathematics? Huh? So using system that collections that generic namespace user input 3 class project class program static void main. All right, so in this program we are going to calculate the length of a rectangle. And we're gonna do by integer. We're gonna create the variables first. So length, width, and area. Console.writeLine. This program calculates the area of a rectangle. All right. Console.writeLine. Enter the length. So now we create here integer input length, and of course we do convert to integer 32. Console.readline. All right, semicolon. So now here I'm gonna do length is equals to input length. See, now that we use this variable, there's no more like a green squiggly line on top, underneath our variable, because now we assigned a value to that variable, so we use that variable now. All right, so now create use now enter the width. So console.readline, so that right line, I'm sorry. The length, oh, I forgot something. It's not that important. Console.writeLine. The length is input length, and you can actually concatenate another, how you call it, period, and then this will make it a little bit better, more readable. Okay, but it's basically a right line. Okay, so now that we do that, console right line, the width integer input width, convert to integer, perfect. Console, and then width is equal to input width. So now console.writeLine, the width is input width period, and there we go. Now we have to create the formula for this. So it's area assigned equals length times width. Okay. Console.writeLine. The area of the rectangle is area all right, and with this now we just have to build it and run it. this program calculates the area of the rectangle. Enter the length. Length, it's let's see, it's 3. Okay, it's 3. The width is 5. Therefore, the area is 15. Cool, right? Nice. Now, as last project, what we're gonna do, remember the Fahrenheit converter? Well, how about if we now, instead of just writing the code over and over again, instead of writing the temperature over and over again in the code, we input in the console the actual temperature that there is. Okay, so let's go back to the project, create a new project, user input for, yes, using system namespace user input for class project static void main. All right, so here, convert Fahrenheit to Celsius using the formula Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5 and all that, oh my gosh, my fingers, divided by 9. That is a formula in order to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, by the way. So our variables are integer, Fahrenheit, so hard to write a name, Fahrenheit. Also we have Celsius. So console, the right line, we have here, what is the temperature on Fahrenheit? So we're asking here the actual temperature, Fahrenheit temperature of the day, right? So for that we need to get integer actual temp is equals convert to integer 32, console red line, and then we assign Fahrenheit equals actual temp. Perfect. Now console that right line, today's temperature is actual temp. Okay. So now Celsius is equal actual temp. Oh my gosh, actual temp minus 32 divided, multiplied by 5 divided by 9. Console that right line, therefore today's temperature in Celsius is Celsius, semicolon, build, and so the temperature today, let's put today is actually like 61 in Fahrenheit. 61, therefore today's temperature in Celsius is 16. Cool, isn't it? It's freaking cool. So now you know how to convert Fahrenheit into Celsius, and also asking the user for an input for the actual temperature. And with that being said, guys, this is our crash course for the user input section. Thank you very much for being with me. Next time, I promise, is the double and floating point variables, which are very useful for creating decimal numbers. So thank you very much, guys, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.